It is a special solo. It's always game day in Cleveland minicamp edition. I'm Daryl Ryder. Andy Baskin has this particular podcast off. Thanks for listening on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, watching us on YouTube. The big news of day one of minicamp, the fact that Amari Cooper was not present. The veteran receiver is in the final year of his contract that pays him $20 million. And after watching the receiver market just absolutely go bananas this offseason, Amari would like an extension and he would like to be paid accordingly. And when you look at his situation, you certainly understand where he's coming from because of how he has performed as a member of the Browns. But before we really get into some of that minutia, here is the reaction from Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson to Cooper's absence on day one of mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, not excused. Obviously, as you guys know, you really have to focus on the guys that are here. These situations, I understand that they do come up. I'll really leave all of that between Amari and Amari's agent, AB, and those type of conversations. But again, as you guys know, we focus on guys that are here. We'll get some good work in and really keep it at that. There's been a dialogue.
Amari is our brother, our teammate. We support him, and the decisions that he got to make for himself is on Amari. So, but everyone in this locker room respect him and know exactly what he's about. And whenever he gets back, he's gonna be ready to go. We all respect Coop, and he's got to handle what he got to handle, and nobody is looking any different than on him. And like I said, we all support him, and he was here this weekend with us, and we had a good time seeing him. He's the best in the game, and I believe that. He shows it each and every year. He shows it the last 2 years with different quarterbacks, so I think you got to put him up there, if not the best.
And there you have it. Watson saying that he believes that Amari Cooper is one of the best receivers in the game. Well, he is a 5-time Pro Bowler. His success with the Browns is pretty hard to deny. He is the first Browns wide receiver to catch for over 1,000 yards in consecutive seasons in franchise history. Let's take a quick look at some of these contracts around the NFL that have been handed out in recent time. And let's start with Justin Jefferson. He's the big one. He got a 4-year, $140 million contract this offseason from the Minnesota Vikings. It included $110 million in guaranteed money and a $35 million per year average. A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles has the second richest contract, at least from annual value, at $32 million a year. He has a $96 million deal with $51 million guaranteed. Detroit gave Amon-Ra St. Brown $120 million. $34 million of that was guaranteed, but still an average of $30 million per year. Tyreek Hill, we all know how prolific he is. $120 million contract, over $52 million of that is guaranteed. That is a $30 million per year average. His teammate Jalen Waddle, Miami, just throwing out the fun coupons at wide receivers. $84.75 million deal, $36 million of that guaranteed, $28.25 million per year average. Devontae Adams of the Raiders, $140 million. That's a $28 million per year average. Cooper Kupp, $80 million. $26.7 million average value. Devontae Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles, a $75 million contract, $25 million average. So, and Nico Collins got a contract extension this offseason from the Houston Texans, $72.7 million, $32 million, and that was guaranteed, but a $24 million per year average. So that gives you some perspective on the money that is being spent on wide receivers right now. It is an exploding market, and one that, quite frankly, Amari Cooper, who is getting close to the age of 30, wants to capitalize on. I'm sure the Browns might be a little concerned about length of contract. I doubt that they're really all that concerned about annual value. But right now, Amari's in the final year of his deal, and so he is not at minicamp, and he does face financial penalty under terms of the collective bargaining agreement. The Browns, should he miss all 3 days, let's assume that he just doesn't show up, Should he miss all 3 days, they could fine him over $100,000. This is not a situation where he's not being a team guy, at least from my perspective. He was at David Njoku's softball game over the weekend. He plans, according to Deshaun Watson, to hang out here in the summer vacation break. Watson plans on getting much of the skill players on offense together so they can get some time on the field together heading into training camp when they go down to West Virginia and the Greenbrier. But this is pure business right now. And if you're Amari Cooper, you certainly understand his frustration and desire to get some more financial security from the Cleveland Browns. So that was story number 1 from minicamp. Story number 2, who else? If you said Deshaun Watson, congratulations, you're a winner. We did see him throw in 7-on-7. This is the first time that we got to see him do that here this offseason again, as he continues to recover from that right shoulder surgery, the surgical repair of the glenoid bone in his rotator cuff. He continues to expand his workload in minicamp here, which is a very positive sign. Here's what Watson had to say on Tuesday.
Just following the protocol, the process, the whole throwing program. Everything's been going pretty smooth, taking it one day at a time, not trying to get ahead of myself. And I think I'm in the right position, and I feel very, very comfortable. I'm a self-confident person. I know the work that I put in. I know the doctors and everybody that's been working with me, and that's where it starts. And then when you get on the field, you just got to go out there and do it, and participate a little bit and see, what you can do right now at this moment. I'm only 6.5 months out. Game 1 is not till another 2.5, 90-something days. So, I'm in a very comfortable spot. And like I said before, just taking it one day at a time and just keep going. Great. I mean, it's truly a blessing. Came a long way from, something that was a big scare last year, something I never dealt with, and something that, most football players don't, especially as a quarterback, don't get to, they don't get to go through that type of surgery. But, for me to be where I'm at today, it's definitely a blessing. More glory to that. And it was fun to be able to get out there and compete. I mean, it's practice. You got to go through practice. Not everything's perfect. Even in games, it's not perfect. But, I don't look at it in a negative way. I don't look at it in a bad way. Each and every fan, each and every media person, they want to see me at a level that I'm capable of doing. So that's the standard. And so I got to make sure I hold myself to it. So it's not a bad thing. It's not anything like that. I don't get involved with, people trying to rate me some, places where, they think I'm at the bottom of the list. It is what it is. If I was at the bottom, no one would talk about me. So obviously, if anyone is talking about me and going to continue to talk about me, then I must be pretty damn good. It is a time. It's reps, getting back. I missed a lot of football. I took off 1 year in 21. 22, had a suspension, and then last year, unfortunate injury. So, that's one thing that you can't, ask to get is that time. You got to be available, and I wasn't available the last 2 years for whatever circumstances. But, God willing, just taking it one day at a time, and I am available. Those reps will come, and I continue to get better each and every rep.
Okay, so there you have it from Deshaun Watson. You got to see a little B-roll from practice there. Certainly not a perfect afternoon for him, and that's okay. But most importantly, he relayed to us that he has had no pain or discomfort in that shoulder, and that in and of itself is a great, great sign, not only for Watson, but the Cleveland Browns. Now, what does Kevin Stefanski think about what he's seeing from his quarterback and the offseason pacing and patience that has been required from number 4 as he continues to follow the program put in place by the medical as well as the training staff? Here's what Stefanski had to say following day 1 of minicamp.
I expect him to throw Thursday, so take a day off tomorrow. Natural next step is throwing out there against the defense in 7-on-7. Then you'll graduate the team and we can do team drills and those type of things. But I thought he looked good, made good decisions. Again, you get mental reps when you're back there, and then it's a little bit different when you're taking the snap from the center or in the shotgun or under center, regardless. But I thought he did a nice job. All of it's a process, and I think he's doing a nice job. We cover a lot of ground in the meeting rooms. These guys will tell you they spend a lot of time together in the meeting rooms. So He's working very hard in there. Obviously, he's done everything in his power from a rehab standpoint, and he's doing everything that he's allowed to do. When the doctors and the trainers tell us we can progress, we progress, so he's been a good patient, I guess, in that regard. But he continues to make strides both in the building, in the weight room, out here on the grass. All of us, when we're going through something like that, always want to get to the next mile marker, if you will. But he's doing a nice job staying present, being where his feet are. Even all those reps that he hasn't been getting, he's getting them mentally. He's standing right behind the quarterback. He's getting those both on the field, then in the meeting room. He's watching tape on his own. So he's using every advantage to getting himself ready that he can.
So there you have it from the Browns head coach. Deshaun continues to make progress. He, as mentioned, he is not going to throw on Wednesday. That is day 2 of minicamp. He will be back throwing on Thursday, and that will be the final practice of the offseason training program for the Browns. So some good news there. Now to the third story. They come in threes, they say, and it's, of course, continues to be the kickoff rule change. And the Browns continue to dedicate significant practice time to that. Bubba Ventrone in the middle of things, Mike Vrabel in the middle of things. And you know who else is in the middle of things? Yeah, Kevin Stefanski. Here's what Stefanski had to say when I asked about his particular involvement in planning and preparing for such a dynamic change to the rule book.
Quite a bit. And this is new for everybody. It's new for Bubba, it's new for me, it's new for our players. So we're trying to work through all of those things. There were some ideas that we had about the play that we thought, and then you watch the guys run it live, and maybe you feel a little bit differently. So it's something that is definitely going to be evolving. Talked about it earlier this week. You'll see it in the preseason. It'll be a new play for all viewers. We'll all see it, and it'll just look different, like these things do. And then you're even going to have to wait for that Thursday night, that Friday night game just to see, all right, well, people are holding things back in the preseason. Now what does it look like? So there's still things that we are working through and are curious about, just like everybody else. But we know the rules. We know there's got to be 2 returners in the landing zone. So we'll work through all the details as we go.
And Stefanski joked that Myles Garrett raised his hand during the team meeting Monday night to volunteer his services to return kickoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. Just a hunch. Don't think it's going to happen. Here's who did return kickoffs on Tuesday. There were 3 primary pairs of returners: Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong Jr., Elijah Moore and Dante Foreman, and then also Amari Brown and Jamari Thrash. And again, more folks are going to get some reps and some opportunities returning those kickoffs as they continue to work on leveraging the field, tilting the field, rather. Do you kick it left and right? How do you return from the left? How do you return from the right? This is going to be a very dynamic play potentially that's going to change the game. And you as fans are actually going to now have to pay attention to kickoffs. No running to the restrooms, no getting a refill after touchdowns, because, well, quite frankly, in my view, I think you're going to see a lot of big, gigantic returns. And the last line of defense are going to be the kickers. That is somewhat frightening to think about, yet also very entertaining to think about. So there you have it. That is a quick recap of day 1 of veteran minicamp for the Browns. They are back at it on Wednesday out in Berea, and we'll be back for a recap of that. And of course, the offseason program wrapping on Thursday. For Andy Baskin, who is on hiatus for this particular podcast, and our outstanding producer, Evan O'Brien, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for leaving a review. And also thanks for watching us on YouTube. It's always game day in Cleveland.